Y'all know what's going on. We back again with a Week 10 Saints recap, and I know y'all wondering why am I smiling, but luckily I didn't do this post game recap the day of, and it's better for my sake and y'all's sake. But like I always say, let me get to this Week 10 recap, man. But the Saints fall to the Minnesota Vikings, 27-19 in a thriller, kind of a thriller. It started off a bad game with the Saints only scoring 3 points in the first half with Derek Carr in the offense. But this game was very interesting because Saints Twitter, Saints fans, I'll be a part of that as the game goes on. And Joshua Dobbs, 1 week from getting traded last week to winning last week's game into winning this week's game. Ate up the Saints defense in the first half. And boy, I tell you, he was making some plays. But he was making those plays because of the Saints, mainly the Saints defensive line. I've been talking about this defensive line for the last 2 years since I've been started these recaps last year. The Saints defensive line is just unathletic, not versatile, and can't finish plays. The Saints, everybody knows this. Saints reporters, Saints supporters, Saints analysts, Saints fans, everybody knows the Saints have trouble. Saints opponents have troubles with dual threat quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks. And I'll say this. Half of the league has a dual threat quarterback or a mobile quarterback. Sorry about that, y'all. It's my leg, but has a dual threat quarterback. I think everybody we've played so far is kind of at least can move, get around the pocket and make some runs with their legs. We played Jordan Love. We played Baker Mayfield. He had a couple runs against us. We played who else? Tyler Badgett, backup for Chicago. He had, I think he had about 60 yards running against us. Who else have we played and lost to? It's not coming to me, but Ryan Tannehill, first week, he can move and make some plays outside of the pocket. The schedule is a blur right now. That's crazy. But mobile quarterbacks give the Saints trouble no matter who it is, and Joshua Dobbs gave them very much trouble. Sometimes the Saints are in the bottom of the league with sacks, pressures, QB hits, all of the things the defensive line has that all of the things that make up a great defensive line the Saints are poor at. So here's my thing with Week 10. Before we even get to the quarterback situation and what transpired in the second half, I'm getting down to this first half trouble, and the first half trouble was on the defensive line. Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Malcolm Roach, Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders. The revamped defensive line, other than Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan. Brian Brzee had himself a game. He's out of this. I'm not putting him in it. Brian Brzee had a great game. I love that draft pick. I think he's definitely gonna be the starter next year up there. And we know they're gonna have to draft another D tackle and I'm so sick of drafting defensive ends. Let's just get one in free agency, please. But I don't even know if we're gonna be biased in free agency. So let me stop getting ahead of myself. But if y'all ain't know what I was talking about, the Saints lost 27-19. Now, let's get to the meat and bones of this week, what everybody wants to know about. Famous Jameis has made a return. Now, not by decision, not by choice, by Derek Carr getting knocked out of the game. And this happened, Derek Carr, since he's got there, he's been banged up. And, he had the shoulder injury. Didn't want to sit out that game. That was early in the year. And he kept getting hit. And I talked about this on another recap. Kept getting hit, but not coming out of the game. This time, he takes a big shot on a hit. And it knocks him out of the game in the third quarter with about, 9 minutes left, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But Jameis Winston comes in, and the Saints are down at this point 27-3. The offense was not humming at all. Chris Olave didn't get a target, I believe, in the first half. Didn't have a catch. Oh, he had one catch right before Derek Carr got out. Derek Carr hit him on, I think, 13-yard pass. But Jameis comes in, and he does Jameis things. Now, if you're a Tampa fan or a Saints fan, you're familiar. I should say NFC South supporter. Either if your team in NFC South, you're familiar with Jameis' game. But if you're not an NFC South supporter, you're probably still familiar because he's very famous for the 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions year. And a lot of analysts and a lot of I guess just people around the football world know him from that stat line, and they know he's a gunslinger. And I think he's still, if you just go off that 30 interception, 30 touchdowns year, you could get misconstrued about what Jameis is. But he's a gunslinger. I don't believe he's a franchise quarterback. Even though I believe, here's my take on Jameis with the Saints, I feel he's never got his fair shot with the Saints. That's something I will say. He went 5-2 with Sean Payton his first year. That was his year as the quarterback. He got hurt. And then, we had a slew of a bunch of other quarterbacks who couldn't get the job done that year. So, and I believe he missed the playoffs. The next year, he comes back. They bring in Andy Dalton, but he's the starter, Jameis Winston. He makes a terrific comeback against the Atlanta Falcons last year. Loses, I think, 2 games in a row. But he was injured with his back vertebrae, and then loses his job to injury to Andy Dalton, who I didn't think played well last year. But Dennis Allen kept him as the quarterback the whole year. And mind you, Dennis Allen was not the head coach when Jameis Winston came in his first year. It was Sean Payton. So he was Sean Payton guy. So last year, that was that. He lost his job to Andy Dalton due to injury, never got it back, and that it was a big old fuss about Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston all last year about why is he sticking with Andy Dalton. And the main word last year, I'm sorry, y'all. The main thing last year was he was a calming presence on the field and things like that. And Dennis Allen was very famous for last year was just keep doing what we're doing great. Now, everybody think Jameis Winston he was a free agent. We thought he was gonna be gone this year to the Colts, to a couple other teams. But when they signed Derek Carr, he came back and returned. And he returned as the backup, 1-year deal. And I think everybody knows Jameis is gonna be gone this year. We thought he was gonna be gone this offseason because he's just not the Saints guy. He's just not Dennis Allen guy. And I'm surprised he came back this year because the disrespect shown last year to him from Dennis Allen, straight up lying to the press, talk about his 100% healthy, but we're not going to talk about that. That's last year bad fruit, but yeah, basically I feel like he didn't get his fair shot with the Saints. And Dennis Allen reconfirmed that Derek Carr is his quarterback going forward, which it's not nothing surprising to me. They spent $150 million on him, and I know the team is going to be too stubborn to say, oh, this is not working so far with the weapons we have. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed, Jimmy Graham, Taysom Hill. Kendrick Miller been hurt, but they have Jamal Williams. He's came back. He's been hurt as well, but still, the Saints have had the easiest schedule in the league, the most healthy team in the league. And they're 5-5 going into the bye week. This is a well-needed bye week. 5-5 and 6-4 is really different going into a bye week. If the Saints were 6-4, I believe the fan base will feel real different right now. Hey, baby. Hey. I feel the Saints fan base would feel real different right now if the Saints were 6-4. But that was my mirror right there, y'all. But yes, Jameis came in, scored 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But let me break it down on how the stats came about. Jameis came in 27-3. And I know y'all wondered, dang, they lost 27-19. Man, oh, he made it close. Yes, Jameis came in, couple strikes to Olave. A great catch by Olave at the back of the end zone. Jameis put the ball up for a starter, go get the ball and make a play. Chris Olave came down and made the play. Another touchdown Jameis Winston threw. A cross-body, horrible decision. It's a Jameis decision. But when you're down that much and you need a spark on offense, you try to make anything happen. It was third down, I believe, and Jameis just threw a missile from all the way to the left side of the field, all the way to the right side of the field in the end zone. Another 50-50 ball to A.T. Perry. He threw so much of a missile from the left side of the field to the right. The cornerback got there about just in time. But he threw it. It was a rocket. And A.T. Perry came down 50-50 ball, kind of like the Rashid Shaheed catch against the Colts when it was 50-50. But yeah, that was a great pass, but a bad decision. But it got there. And they converted both two-point conversions, so it was 19-27. Now on to Jameis Winston picks. One pick was, I think, Jameis got lit up on a free blitz or somebody, I can't remember the player, but a free blitz right up the gap. And Jameis threw it to Olave down the right sideline, and the cornerback had a step on Olave and it was a pick. But it was just a free blitz that Jameis threw it up there for his guy to go make a play. But it was just the quarterback was a couple steps ahead. Now the second one, they got another chance to tie the game up, and Jameis this was a bad decision. I think he was just trying to be hero. I don't know what he was saying, but it was just a bad decision all over right there. But my point is with this, I know the Derek Carr, it's a bye week. We're gonna hit a Derek Carr versus Jameis for 2 weeks. But this is one thing I can say. As that game went on, when Jameis came in, the game got way more exciting. I don't care if you're not a Jameis fan, if you're a Derek Carr fan, you can say what you want, but you were sitting in your seat wherever you was watching the game. You were like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Especially when he threw that touchdown. I was thinking about the Atlanta game last year. I was like, oh, this is going to be another fourth-quarter comeback for Jameis. Ooh, man. I was thinking this was going to be another Atlanta fourth-quarter comeback, but it fell short. But I was excited for the offense for once in a while. I'll say that. I commented that on Stafford Red tweet. I was excited because I always say this. With Jameis, it's going to be a touchdown or it's going to be a pick. Derek Carr is going to be a punt or a sack. Because Derek Carr holds the ball too long. Now, it's a lot of things to say, oh, he's only been with the team for 3 weeks. He's only been with the team for 4 weeks. Give him time. It's week 10. Now, I know a lot of people might be like, oh, other offenses are struggling too. But who are the other offenses that are struggling with these amount of weapons? Our weapons are healthy. Chris Olave is healthy. Rashid Shaheed is healthy. Michael Thomas is healthy. Derek Carr is not getting it done. And I'm not saying Jameis is the franchise quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback in my eyes. But he's a more explosive quarterback than Derek Carr. And he never got his first shot with the Saints. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to make the debate of Jameis Winston versus Derek Carr because we know the Saints are going to go with Derek Carr. We know Dennis Allen is going to go with Derek Carr. He got fired on his sword with the Raiders as Derek Carr as his quarterback. He's going to get fired again as Derek Carr as quarterback. Let's call it what it is. This year, if Dennis Allen not gone, I don't know what the hell Mickey Loomis and Gail Benson are calling shots. I don't know if Gail Benson is involved with the football operations, but I don't know what the hell Mickey Loomis doing if Dennis Allen not getting fired after this year. And Pete Carmichael gone. Whole new staff, please give them to me right now. 5-5 with the easiest schedule in the league. With your team healthy. With your new $150 million quarterback from Las Vegas. We should have seen that sign that, hey, you just got to accept Derek Carr for what he is. He's an up and down quarterback. He might show you something. This is what he did for the Raiders for the whole, 8-9 years he was with them. Couple flashes. And the rest just That's all it is with Derek Carr. He might have a great game here, and y'all might get overexcited. See, that's what we signed up for. But no, like I always said, when my cousin told me when I seen he signed him, and my cousin said, "What you think about Derek Carr?" I told you, I think he's an quarterback. He's a top 20 quarterback. He's around the 15 to 20 quarterback, and that's not gonna get nothing done in the NFL if you got a top 15 to 20 quarterback, unless you have an amazing defense, great weapons, which we have the weapons, but we have an above average defense. Our defensive line holds the defense back from being great, amazing. If we had that showstop on the defensive line, like a Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams, things like that. If we had explosive players like that, that'll make our defense spectacular. Because our back end, I love our back end, especially the corners. Paulson Adebo, Marshawn Lattimore, he got hurt as well. We got to see what that's going to be like. That's the key injury, because we know when Marshawn goes out, it gets kind of tough on the Saints corners. Even though I like Alontae Taylor, and I think he's better outside than he is in the slot, Marshawn, that's a key injury. That's a bigger injury than Derek Carr, because the depth at corner is not as better than our depth at the quarterback position. Now, one thing that happens when Jameis becomes quarterback, Taysom Hill doesn't get used often because he's the backup quarterback then. Now, if Derek Carr, which I assume Derek Carr will be healthy, because I didn't think it was like structural injuries, nothing like a leg, ACL, a sprained ankle. I think it was a concussion, I believe. But Taysom Hill doesn't get used often when he's the backup quarterback, because it makes sense. He's the backup quarterback, unless you're gonna make Jake Haener the backup quarterback and let Taysom just be in his gadget tight end role, flex role, and do his QB powers and sweeps packages that you have rolled up for him. But this game was disappointing, and it's 5-5 year. It's kind of what it's been with the Saints, though. Up and down, an average team so far. If you could describe the Saints season so far, you could say disappointing from expectations from the offseason, but they're right on course of what type of team they are right now. They're average team. They play average teams. They haven't played any team that's great to me. The best team they play is the Jaguars, and I don't think too highly of them. I think they're a slightly above average team, and the Saints played them well. And I think the Saints should be above average team, but they're not. I'm a realist. I'm realistic, even though I'm a supporter and fan of the Saints. For a long time, I'm realistic of what I see on the field. And what I see on the field is an average team, not average players, average play calling, average coaching, and a below average defensive line. That's what really stands out to me. And it's been standing out to me for the last 2 years, what I've been seeing. I said that fooled people last year. I think it was last year where the Saints were like top 5 in sacks or something. That fooled people, because the Saints defensive line, they got sacks, blitzing, stunts, but those sacks wasn't because of explosiveness and finishing. But you get to really see the Saints flaws when you see the quarterback drop back and just sit there and have time, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And if the Saints do get there, you see the quarterback get out of there, make a move, make a spectacular play, and throw the ball downfield. Joshua Dobbs' quarterback run was amazing. Like I said, I'm a Saints supporter, but I'm realistic and I'm objective. When I see great plays made, Joshua Dobbs had a great first half. Now, granted, Dennis Allen, his defense they upped the ante in the second half and only gave up 3 points. Gave the offense a chance to come back and win the game, and that's what Jameis did. With the circumstances coming in, down 24 points, that's not just 3 touchdowns. That's 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions. So it's like 6 touchdowns. Because a 2-point conversion is tough. The distance is 2 yards, I believe. The field is condensed, and it's hard to get that. So with the circumstances, I'll give Jameis a B minus. Because that second pick was just unexcusable. That was just bad because the game still was on the line. But it was bad. But he threw a great Hail Berry pass here. I had me on the edge of my seat for that one too. But that's how I feel about the Saints this year so far. They've been an average team. I'm glad it took me a day because if y'all would have caught me yesterday, anyway, y'all probably would have got a meaner me. But hey, it's over now. I don't let the Saints losses affect me too much because I've been through real heartbreak with the Saints, with the no call, with the Minnesota Miracle, with the loss, with the Beast Mode loss, with the San Francisco Vernon Davis goal line catch. I've been through some tough ones. With the Kyle Rudolph back in the end zone divisional round, I believe, or was that wild card round? Wild card round, I believe. Which I thought was a push off with PJ Whitlaw. Don't bring me back, but like I said, I don't let the wins or losses affect my day mood too much. But I hate when complacency comes because Pete Carmichael shouldn't be the offensive coordinator. He shouldn't have been the offensive coordinator this year. In no way he should still be the offensive coordinator now. Like, it's other things going on, but don't think Pete Carmichael's getting hidden right now because of the Jameis Derek Carr situation. But when we got down by one score, if nobody realized, we were down by one score, and guess what? We didn't run the ball at all. We were still acting like we was down by 3 scores. Like we're down by 1 score. 8 points. And we didn't put the ball on the ground. We just let Jameis drop back after drop back after drop back like we're down still 3 scores. Nobody noticed that. But if you're watching the game, watch the game, please. And y'all gonna see the play calling change. Like Pete Carmichael, I don't know. Like, you sat behind Sean Payton for so long. And Sean Payton is a risky play caller. Sometimes he was conservative. He was happy-go-lucky with screens. But Sean Payton was a risky, explosive play caller. An innovator. Before we got the Kyle Shanahan and the Cliff Kingsbury and the who else? What? Who the other dude? Sean McVays. It was Sean Payton, Andy Reid. That's what. And now our offense is just plain dandy stale. And I can say what Jameis got in, he brought the flame. He brought the fire back. He had people watching the game like, yeah, we should have been doing that. Big give it to Olave. But I ain't going to go on too long, y'all. We 5-5. We got a bye week. We're going to hear about this Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, and Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen, how they should be going. I hear a lot of people talk about Jalen Daniels, drafting him, getting ready for him to be our quarterback next year. Ooh. Sorry, y'all, again, bro. It's late. But I wouldn't mind a dual threat quarterback who could get it done with his legs and with his arm. I saw a clip of one of our coaches, I believe, saying, we love the dual threats, but they got to be able to throw it when they're hurt, when their leg can't hurt. That didn't give me faith that we was going to draft a dual threat quarterback. The Saints don't draft quarterbacks in the first round, and they strike out on their defensive line in the first round. So I don't care what's going on this year. We got a first, and I think we got a first from Denver as well. With your opinion, we got 2 firsts. So if you got to package that to move up to get Jalen Daniels, do it. He's a great player. He's a great player for LSU. Hometown product. The Saints never draft LSU players, so maybe this will be a change. Maybe they'll realize, hopefully they'll realize Derek Carr's not their guy. Jameis will be gone. Maybe, hey, Jalen Daniels, I keep about to say Jalen McDaniels. I'm an NBA fan too much. But Jalen Daniels could sit behind Carr until he is bad enough to replace him. So Derek Carr plays bad enough to replace him, but the Saints do anything with him. But I'm kind of over the Derek Carr experiment, but the NFC South is so bad. Atlanta lost another heartbreaker to the Cardinals. Tampa Bay won. And they'll play again and catch up on their schedule because they had their bye week already. We'll see. They have the tiebreaker against us, but we have a showdown with the Atlanta Falcons Thanksgiving weekend. So that will be probably for first place in the division, depending on who. I don't know who Tampa plays right now, but yes, we have a chance to be 6-5, 5-6. So, but once again, Saints lose to Minnesota 27-19. TaeVi's recap, Saints post game recap. I'm out.